Hello everyone, and welcome to Realistic Realtors with Superior Coaching School. I'm Bill, and this is my business partner, Nick. And one thing different, Nick, about our coaching program, we're all about action. We're all about showing you guys the steps you can take right now to better your business. So right now we're on lesson 23, Nick, and we're talking about LinkedIn. So tell us about LinkedIn, Nick.
Well, I want to start with a quote from Jay Baer, and he says, LinkedIn is for people you know. Facebook is for people you used to know. Twitter is for people you want to know. And I think what he's getting at is that LinkedIn is a place where if you have people in your network that you want to make a part of your sphere, you want to follow them because they're maybe a very good business person, maybe they own a business that you want to connect with, or there's somebody that you just generally want to be connected with because they have a good network. LinkedIn is the place to go. LinkedIn essentially is the best place to connect organically with other clients. So Bill, I think when we're talking about LinkedIn, it's a good place to connect with people, but it's a place where people look at you as well. So
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about your online resume on LinkedIn and how important that is.
Well, to start, Nick, my online presence with LinkedIn wasn't too good. I didn't realize the value of it day one. So for like 2 years, I had a LinkedIn profile that just had my name, what I did, and where I was doing business.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I must have just selected the first choice where you do business by alphabetical order. I thought the United States just always pop up, and I selected Afghanistan.
True story.
True story. So I did not really have a good presence, Nick.
Yeah, well, I think what's interesting is that, as you mentioned, you might think, oh, I slipped up, nobody will see it, but you'd be surprised how many people look you up on LinkedIn.
I had a text message from a friend that said, hey, I just looked you up on LinkedIn. Are you going to open up a real estate firm in Benghazi? What are you doing?
Yeah, and so it is important, and LinkedIn is one of those places where you can actually see who's looking you up. And what you'll see, every week I check of hundreds and hundreds of people that look me up on LinkedIn. Because essentially it's your online resume, right? So one of the first things we did when we were fixing and kind of improving your LinkedIn was add all your past work history. And how important is that?
Yeah, because you're building your resume, right? And people want to see, how qualified are you? Because they want to be connected with successful people in business. That's what LinkedIn is about, right? It's less personal than Facebook.
Yes.
So I think since it's less personal, it makes people more comfortable adding you to their organization.
Yeah, and look, when you have 546 million users on LinkedIn, active users on LinkedIn, there are a lot of people using it for business, and a lot of them are business people, right? So I say this a lot, but people on LinkedIn more likely to be able to be qualified for buying a home than on Facebook, right?
Absolutely.
Because they're there for business, and you can see their work history, right? Which is important. And so there's some studies here we have on the screen where you can see that more business-to-business leads were generated on LinkedIn than Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram combined. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
That basically says that if you are in the world of business, you're going to be on LinkedIn. So for those agents out there that are, higher price points, maybe luxury agents, we have an agent here in North Carolina, Kathy Burns, she is all over LinkedIn.
Yep.
And she focuses mainly at a higher price point and luxury listings on the lake.
Sure.
And she said she gets so many recommendations and referrals from LinkedIn because her clientele refer to her page. And so that can be key. How important it is if you have something that's really good about your business, something you do really well, right? To have people refer you because of that reason. Like for you, it might have been your branding and your marketing, right? Everybody knew you from the community, right?
Sure.
So would you say it was a way that you generated business? People said, oh, go to Bill because he's always at these different events he's sponsored, right?
Absolutely.
So if you were able to take that and put it on LinkedIn, right, now what you're able to do is capture the connections of your other connections, right? And so you've started to grow your connection.
Sure.
So you've grown your network in the past couple months, right? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I went from 50 other members on LinkedIn to about 1,400 now.
Yeah.
And that's just in 4 months. And one of the reasons, especially if a company out there, research has found, as you've seen, 50% of LinkedIn members over 50% are more likely to do business or purchase from a company that is a member of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's 50%.
You need a presence on there. So, if your team or your business is not set up on LinkedIn, you need to be posting on there because there's no soliciting on LinkedIn because that's what it's for.
Right.
Right? And I think that's key to remember. So now let's look at some other demographics, some stats on here. 61% of all LinkedIn users are between the ages of 30 and 64. Right? So what do we know about most sellers?
So most sellers are going to be in that range of 30 to 64 years old.
Yeah, and most of the people in that range as well are going to be people that are looking at homes,
Yep.
right? Because they're going to have to move somewhere, right? So if you're targeting that demographic, why are we not using LinkedIn more?
Yeah, if that research, Nick, is telling us that most buyers and sellers fall in that range, well, we should be using LinkedIn as much as possible.
Exactly. And so let's talk a little bit again about some different ways in which we can diversify our content on LinkedIn. You might be asking, what do I post? And you can read on here as well that links have 200% higher engagement rate on LinkedIn. And that's interesting because you can see, as we have listed on the slide, Facebook kind of depresses outside links to websites. LinkedIn actually encourages it, and it's something unique about it.
Sure.
They want you to link other articles. And so if you have a personal blog or personal website, as we do, right, you want to link that. Put it on LinkedIn. And you'll get engagement and clicks from people in your sphere, in your organization. Now, Bill, how often or how much time would you say you spend a day on, say, Facebook?
Not that much time. Not as much time as I should.
But you do.
Yeah,
I
you
see
know,
you scrolling.
I scroll all the time, but I probably only post twice a week.
Yeah, but the idea is that you're still looking.
Absolutely.
You're still engaging, liking,
yeah.
commenting. And so the average American now spends 2.5 hours on social media. A lot of that time is on Facebook, but the largest growth over the past 2 years has been on LinkedIn. Instagram has gone way up. Facebook's stayed pretty consistent with usage. LinkedIn has gone a lot further up. And that's because a lot of people who get into business, they see the value and putting the resume online and connecting with people, right?
Yep.
And they make it a priority, as you did, growing your connections.
Yep.
Right.
So, Nick, I have a question. What's your advice to agents out there? Is there a way where they can use their LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram and just be a circle of life there? How can we work them together?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that because I always tell agents who are wondering, what do I post on LinkedIn or what do I post on Facebook? I always tell them, repurpose the same content. Guys, don't recreate the wheel, right? If you have an amazing post, we've given plenty of examples in our coaching program talking about all these sponsorship opportunities, good content to post, taking pictures with clients, things of that nature. If you're going to post it on Facebook or post it on Instagram, put it on LinkedIn as well. It takes 2 seconds. We had an interview where we were told, you should have a great R&D department, right? You want to tell them what that means?
Rip off and duplicate. If it's working for someone else, just copy it.
Exactly. And so rip off and duplicate, guys. If you have great content or other people have amazing content that's getting good engagement,
Sure.
Share it, right? And put it on your page. It's easy to share. I think the better way to do it, which gets higher engagement, is to post something natively. So that means save the picture yourself and post it. And LinkedIn is now coming out with LinkedIn Live. So that is a new feature that will be out very soon. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of people going into video on LinkedIn, which is so key. So let's do a little bit of review, right? Do you want to review some of the points that we talked about today?
Yeah, well, I think for me, LinkedIn is more business, more professional, less personal than Facebook. So I'm really attracted to that because I'm really business oriented. When it comes to Facebook, I don't care when someone basted their turkey. It's just not important to me. And I realize that, we have to do both. When I saw the stat that 50% of the people on LinkedIn are more likely to do business with another LinkedIn member, that's 50%.
Yeah.
And I just got started with LinkedIn, a few months ago. I'm late to the party. But those stats right there, comfortable for me with LinkedIn. Sometimes Facebook can be a little like, I don't know what to post. So I like that aspect of LinkedIn. And then the stats showing how much LinkedIn is growing and how many professionals use LinkedIn and what kind of effect that can have on your business.
Yeah, you can be. I think what you're saying, to summarize, is be straight to the point. There's no, other stuff on there, so to speak, right?
Right.
It's just business, and if that's your main objective, this can be very good. And again, I think I'll hammer it home with this: LinkedIn is your online resume, so build it out. Make sure it's complete, because people are looking you up,
Yep.
and you can use LinkedIn to look other people up by their business, where they work. Companies that are moving jobs to your city. We see all the time online. Hey, jobs are coming to your city, your town. They're hiring 400 people for this position. Go on LinkedIn and look up that company and look who has that position, because they might be moving to Charlotte.
Sure.
So it allows you to filter and really search for anybody in business, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. So we're going to bring in a special guest now to talk all about LinkedIn and about how they've used this platform to get recommendations, which you should be getting on LinkedIn as well. We'll let them go into more detail on that.
They do over 50% of their business just from LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's huge. So I don't want to give too much away, because they're going to give amazing value and content. So listen to that video. We'll check in later this week, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.